What's going on, guys? Today I am going to talk about the greatest economical thing that has ever happened to Sierra Leone since its history. I'm going to repeat this. Today I'm going to talk about the greatest thing that has ever happened to Sierra Leone since its history. So, what am I talking about? I am talking about the Transco CLSG that just happened in Sierra Leone, and it actually went online late December. So I'm talking about the first time ever in the history of Sierra Leone for it to have sustainable, green, 24-hour electricity. I'm going to say that last part again. 24-hour electricity. It doesn't stop there, it gets better. All this is created from the motherland. It's not imported. So, for those who are not aware, Transco CLSG stands for Transportation Company. Transco stands for Transportation Company. The CLSG part stands for Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea. CLSG, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea. It is a working electric utility line that has 24-hour power from a hydroelectric power dam in a place called Man in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. So this line is going to be about 800 miles, and so far the one that's been completed is roughly somewhere between 500 to 600 miles. Just quick reference: if you live in the ATL and you want to go to Ohio and you drive 70 miles an hour, and that's a good 8 hours drive, you have a wire. The wire will still be there. Or if you in Ohio you want to go to the East Coast, which is another 7 or 8 hours drive, you're driving 70 to 80 miles an hour. That's a long drive, right? That's how long that wire is. Okay, and then we'll get back to that later. So okay, so the path of this stuff is, as I say, it starts in Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire with a hydroelectric dam in Man. From there, it hits these southern tip of Guinea. There's a little bit of the southern tip of Guinea. Then it goes back into Liberia, and in Liberia you will have four substations. So these substations are basically nodes where you could hook up electricity as you go through the different states, because it's going through four different states. So um, for you to transfer electricity, you have to make the voltage very high, so you have very little heat loss. And then when you want to use it, you step it down, and then that way you can have more current. So there's a total of 12 substations. Um, the Monrovia also has a hydroelectric power plant that is named um, Mount Coffee Power, that helps the national grid get its first booster. So remember, it starts with the main one in Man, and then it's synchronized. This is like a floating grid. It's like a table with multiple legs, and everybody's holding it up. We'll talk about that, how that's important. That brings redundancy. Okay, so the second boost, as I mentioned before, is from Liberia at the Mount Coffee, and it's synchronized. It's AC current, so it's synchronized, so it's locked in step, and then it helps boost the line. So from here, it leaves Liberia and passes over the border, then goes to Sierra Leone, where it gets through cities by the name of Kenema, Bo, and Bumbuna. Now, Bumbuna also has a hydroelectric power station, as we all know, and that one is also synchronized to help boost the line. So we have three lines, and we're going to talk about this just some more. And by the way, this is not some kind of fantasy, some kind of proposal. This is already happening. Okay, so who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe me, or you're going to believe what you're seeing right in front of your face. Okay. Uh, so Bubu now already has a leg going down to Freetown, Sierra Leone capital. So that will happen. So basically, what would happen um, if Bumina hydroelectric power shuts down or goes down because of some kind of faults or maybe bad parts or whatever, the Bumina would draw its backup power from the national grid and then send it to Freetown. So that way we have a redundancy. You know how sometimes, especially during the low rain season, Boomerang is not reliable, and of course, right now Freetown we have that boat out there that's burning fuel, and that was supposed to be temporary anyway. But with this national grid, that will not be necessary because we having connection to West Africa. We've always had that. This we've been singing this song for a long time. Africa unite, Africa unite. We've heard the song, we've sang the song. You know the Bob Marley, everybody. We've been singing this song and everything. And guess what? It's finally happened. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So on this channel we talked about energy, right? Especially in this channel, we talk about electric cars and everything like that. And I had a video out a while back ago that told you that the future of Africa is not going to be importing crude oil from places that have them, say, like Nigeria. You put it on a big boat, then you take the crude oil, then you have to refine it even before you go to Sierra Leone because we don't have a refinery. Then you have to take that boat inland and they put it on a truck. Then the truck goes to a gas station, and then the gas station you finally pay for it. By the time you pay for it, you can't even sell it per gallon. You sell it per pint because it's so expensive. Well, what just happened? Right now, as we speak, that gas station, so to speak, is now at your door. It's inside your house. Everybody has that gas station inside the house. Right now, as we speak, see, this is a game changer. A lot of people don't realize what just happened. As we speak, the fuel is inside your house. Remember, we were laughing at electric cars. We're talking about Tesla. Or electric cars will never come to Africa. But first, Tesla was supposed to be up there in the sky, and it's like, oh, that's nice and everything. Well, guess what? All the automotive companies, just in case you didn't know, most people in this channel already know this. Everybody, Mercedes, Chevy, Toyota, Mazda, Land Rover, every single automotive company, they're all going to be building electric cars. Why? Because electric cars are better, they're simpler, they have less moving parts. There was an issue with the battery that's gonna change real soon. What's so important about this? Okay, in fact, I had a friend of mine's sent me a picture where he was driving from Sierra Leone to Liberia. Okay, and along the highway you have these lines. What do you think is going to happen? Somebody's going to go invest and turn those lines to charging stations because you remember Uganda they're already building electric buses in Uganda. Again, this is not something that's out there on pie in the sky. This is something that's already happening. How long is it going to take before somebody says, hey, you know what? Rather than spending expensive fuel for gas, I'm just going to go ahead and get an electric car and invest it, use it for transportation or use it for my own self. So again, you heard in this channel, we talked about electric cars. We talked about the Tesla is a game changer, but a lot of people were like, oh, electro demu, here he goes again with all this stuff. It's never going to happen. Well, guess what? It's happened already. You've seen it with your own eyes. You've seen the administration cut the tape. You've seen Bull light up for 24 hours. You've seen Kenma light up for 24 hours. Again, who are you going to believe? You're going to believe me, or you're going to believe what's in front of you? All right. So the beauty about this thing, I talked about this thing is actually being generated by Mother Nature. Well, we're using hydroelectric power. Now, hydroelectric power, as you know, is powered by water. Remember what we've been talking about in this channel? that one of the gifts that we have for Africa, we have a lot of rain, especially in West Africa. Well, that rain turns to water, and that water turns to a stream that goes either away or towards the Atlantic Ocean. So typically it goes towards the Atlantic Ocean. As so as doing that, as booming up, we have an energy. This is our energy. This is free energy. It's sustainable because it's always gonna be there. It's every season is you're gonna fill up the dam. You're gonna have water. This is our electricity. And the other beauty about this thing is we talked about debot. Okay, and this is important. Remember, I talked about the airport and how the airport will work. You design, you build, you operate, and you transfer. And even if the last part transfer is kind of, we're not even sure about that. The way this would work, well, I'm sorry, I'm saying stuff that I've always said in the past. The way this is will work, like it's like this is some kind of project that's gonna happen, right? The way this has, the way this is, in other words, it's not a future tense. It already has happened. The way this worked was somebody designed, which is the Transco company, the Transco CLSG. They built it. It's already been built as we speak, from Abidjan through Ivory Coast, Abidjan through Liberia, through Monrovia to Sierra Leone. It's going to go right all the way up to Guinea. And by the way, this is part of the big project of the whole West Africa under WAP, the West African Power Pool. And this is one of the first legs that we're seeing. Why the debate is important is because we always talk about Sierra Leone. Some of you, and I'm one of them, they're tired of Sierra Leone. They've been saying, why would Sierra Leone never go ahead? Why is it that everybody else is moving but Sierra Leone ahead? Why are we so corrupt? Guess what? Corruption is a two-edged sword. Think about this. Why in the world, even though Sierra Leone is so corrupt and we're so poor with all the negative things that we always say, but somehow we manage to have cell phone service? Think about that. We're corrupt, right? If everybody agrees that we're corrupt and we cannot go ahead, how can we have cell phone service? And the reason why is the same corruption and greed makes things happen. So for all those who are always negative about Sierra Leone because it's never going to go ahead, well, guess what? That same reason is why we've already had this system in place. And this system, I'm going to be honest with you, it kind of snuck up on me too. I didn't even check up on it until I had to do some research. I'm like, whoa, this is already here. Energy is so powerful that even corruption cannot stop it. Okay, and this is done by the investors who are being involved with this. The reason why this is important is for them to make sure that they have their money. They're going to maintain these lines ourselves. The reason for that is because I'm sure there's some people out there right now that say, well, this is Sierra Leone. Guess what? Just give them 2 years. Everything's going to be run down because we Sierra Leoneans, we can't take care of anything. Okay? Guess what? This is design, build, operate, and transfer. Let me give you another example. With all the corruption we've got in Sierra Leone, how in the world did we manage to get roads done? Now you're going to say that's because the Chinese came and built it. No, that's not true. The Chinese use their own money to build it, but guess what? They're charging us. We got to pay for it, and that's what the design was the designing the road. They built the road. Now they're operating it. The O for DBOT, DBOT. The O is what we're doing right now. They're operating it. Now a lot of people have some negative stuff about this, but guess what? Which one is better? Having no roads at all, or having a road that you have to pay for? The Chinese, yes, they built it, but guess what? Who's gonna actually operate the road? Who's gonna actually utilize the roads? It's not gonna be the Chinese people. It's gonna be the Sierra Leoneans. That's the nice thing about these infrastructure projects, because no matter who comes and builds it, we don't have anything right now. We don't have no airports. We didn't have any roads, and now we didn't have any electricity. Okay. Now we have electricity. Guess what's going to happen? Now that we have reliable electricity, companies are going to come in and build. And the beauty about this stuff is, if you look at the map, they're going to come in to Sierra Leone and build more over than all the other West African countries. Why? The same reason that we so far behind and we're so far undeveloped. That means that their labor is cheaper. So they would come here to build these power plants. Bumbuna number two, for instance, would come in online. Not necessarily for Sierra Leone. I'm going to be totally honest. Yes, Sierra Leone, we're going to have some new cities, but they're going to actually come into Sierra Leone, build these plants to feed countries like Guinea, Liberia, and Abidjan. By the way, and the rumors about some people saying that we cannot do anything ourselves. Abidjan has to feed us. Guess what? This is a floating grid. If Abidjan goes down and Bumbuna is running, Bumbuna is going to be feeding Abidjan. But this is a floating grid. In other words, it's like a table with have multiple legs. So Bumbuna is now going to be feeding Liberia, Guinea, and Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire. How about that? All right, guys. So I've got let's see. I've got four what I call silly myths. Some of them I've already discussed about just now. Okay, so four silly myths. And they're not in any particular order. So myth number one: only one party created this project. Now, there's some people out there, because they've been minding their own business, as we always do. All of a sudden, boom, they saw some wires that came through the border through Manor, and it happened during the regime that we have now. They're out there clapping. Oh my goodness! Look, this regime they've secretly. While everybody was talking, they've secretly gone behind their back, and then they've given us electricity. That is a bunch of crap. You know, this thing started in 1999, and it had all these different phases as we go through. Even the time of when we had Ebola between 2014 and 2016, it was developing. The groundbreaking started in 2000. I got my paperwork here. 2012 is when the nope. 2012 is when the CLSG started. I mean, that's when the Transco company was formed. But the groundbreaking actually didn't start until around 2018. In fact, I am going to pull up my stuff here. There we go. Yeah, so the big project with this WAP, the West African Power Pole, started in 1999, and this is for the people who everything has to go through the prism of some kind of party. It's got to be either SLPP or APC. This is just to knock this myth down. Okay, so 1999. You got to give credit where it's due. SLPP started the whole thing because that's when it was 1999. They were part. In 2008, the CLSG interconnector identified as a priority project. December 2011 to 2012, the treaty is negotiated and signed between the four countries. And of course, 2011-2012 was a different party, APC. In fact, 2012 had a couple of things. You had the project is approved by the World Bank. August 2012, initial finance for the project is provided. Let's see. 2013, the shareholders agreements and the article of association are signed by the national utility of the CLSG. 2013, the international project agreement is signed by the four participating countries and Transco CLSG. So you see all this happened, and then look at this. This is during COVID time, 2014. Transco CLSD became operational following the appointment of the general manager. It's the headquarters and agreed to by Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, later in 2014. 2016. Remember 2014 to 2016 we had Ebola. The first PPA. Well, this was towards the end of Ebola. The first PPA was signed under the CLSD interconnection project. This was 81 megawatts from Cote d'Ivoire to Liberia, then to Sierra Leone, and then Guinea 27 megawatts each. Okay, so it's 87 megawatts, and then I guess they're going to split it up 27 megawatts each between Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. 2016. This is a different party. Okay, let's see. 2017, the project is inaugurated on the sideline of ECOWAS head of state. All right, 2017 through January 2018, additional financing filled the gaps. At 2018, construction activity begins. See that? 2018, and then the reason why 2018 is kind of critical. What happened in 2018? The party changed. It went from APC to SLPP. All this was going on, and then of course, finally in 2021, well, guess what? The electricity showed up at our doorsteps. So please please be informed. There's not one party that did all this. One of the key things for this kind of stuff is continuation. One party, the SLPP started this whole thing. The APC did not cancel it. They continued it, which is any nation that would have success is they would continue a project that's good. That's one of the reasons why. This is my own personal belief. We don't have an airport right now because one party started what I thought was a good idea. The other party came in and I don't want it because it's a different party, and that's why we're the only country in Africa where the capital you have to land somewhere and then you have to take a boat, a half an hour boat. But that's a story for a different blog or different YouTube video. All right, so I said all that to squash myth number one that only one party created this project. So if you see any politician out there saying, I am the one that started this Transco CLSG and blah, 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 it's false. Just look at the information. It's right there. This thing started way back in 1999. They actually started construction in 2018. And that was when the both parties changed. So just squash that. Okay. Silly myths number 2. Now that we have 24-hour electricity, the Bumbuna hydroelectric dam will go out of business. This is so far from the truth. In fact, now that we have this network line that goes from Guinea to Liberia and Ivory Coast, or Cote d'Ivoire, if you want to say that, the Bumbuna is actually more powerful because Bumbuna, people are going to invest to Bumbuna because the PPA power purchase agreement is now available for feeding Guinea, for feeding Liberia, and for feeding Ivory Coast. So and now we have 24-hour electricity. So investors are going to put money in there. And guess what? Bumbuna number 2 is going to come in. And as I mentioned before, what else is unique about Sierra Leone? The very reason that we are cursed because we're so behind, we're so undeveloped, it will just be like how China used to be. How other countries in Asia used to be. The very fact that we're undeveloped, that means that our labor will be cheap. So rather than they build another hydroelectric power at a more developed place like Ivory Coast, they're going to come to Sierra Leone because they're going to come here, build it, and then they're going to feed Ivory Coast just like Ivory Coast is feeding us. But guess what? You're not going to argue that the people in Ivory Coast their wage is a little bit higher than us in Sierra Leone. So it's more practical for them to put the power here and then feed Ivory Coast, Liberia, and Guinea. So that comes to our advantage. All right, so that takes care of myth number 2 about the the fact that Boom Boom now will go out of business. Now they have 24 electricity. Ah, myth number three. I love this one. Why can't we fix our own electricity and stop depending on other people for electricity? In other words, why can't we fix Boom now? We gotta go beg, Ivory Coast. We gotta go beg Liberia and those people. Why can't we just take care of our own? We've sang this song, guys. You've heard this song over again. Um, um, divided we fall, united we stand strong. You've heard this thing all over again. So that's what's going on. And then think about this. Right now, some people call themselves Sierra Leoneans. Some people call themselves Liberians. Some people call themselves Cote d'Ivoire. I guess it's Ivorians. Correct me if I'm wrong. And some people call themselves they're from Guinea. That is all artificial. That was all divided by our colonizers. Those borders were artificial. This is the first time in history that this has changed. You know why? Because the wire is already connecting three different countries right now. That is Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea, and it's in operation. What do you think is going to happen? So right now it's working. Right now, electricity is being powered to Bo and Kenema, right? So how are you going to pay them? So they're going to pay them. They're going to have to use some kind of united currency. It's going to be the U.S. dollar, and we'll talk about cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. I think that should be the future for this project because it's decentralized. But again, that is stay tuned for another blog on that. But they're going to trade by default, and this is not going to be something that's going to happen in the future. Remember some of my videos, people always accuse, okay, hey, electro demo, stop giving people false hope, right. Well, this is already happened. So Sierra Leone has a purchase power agreement with Abidjan. How do you think that's going to work? The only way it's going to work is by automatic trade. So right now, as we speak, West Africa is trading. That means that West Africa is going to stand strong because together we stand strong, divided we fall. So it's already happened. That's why I say this project is the greatest thing that has ever happened to Sierra Leone. Because Sierra Leone was one of the weakest link. But that weakest link is going to be a two-edged sword because now that people are going to be investing, just like we have the cell phone stations, which were miraculously made in Sierra Leone with all the corruption. That's why this showed up with all the corruption, with all the negativeness for Sierra Leone. This showed up. Okay. Number 4. Yeah, I like this one too. So corruption, as usual, would spoil everything. Well, how did the cell phone survive? As I mentioned before, this is a two-edged sword. One of the things I like to use as an example. Okay, people are tired of Sierra Leone because Sierra Leone has never gone anywhere, right? But then, how did the Chinese manage to come to Sierra Leone and develop the roads? When it comes to a good business, a design, build, operate, and transfer, corruption can't stop it. The thing about corruption might just change hands. In other words, rather than it go to the people's hand, maybe go to someplace else. But the business, corruption doesn't stop business. If it's a good business, it's going to happen no matter what. Just like if since there was a good need for the roads in Sierra Leone, it happened. There was a need for telecommunication in Sierra Leone, it happened. The corruption didn't stop it. There's a need for energy in Sierra Leone, and it's already happened. And the reason for that is because they see an opportunity. So this is very important because a lot of people use the corruption in Sierra Leone as a negative thing. I'm gonna challenge you to twist that around. I'm saying that corruption and greed could actually be a two-edged sword because any good business starts with greed. You have to make money. If there's no money, nobody cares. Yes, sometimes you could be the angel and just feel sorry for people and stuff like that, but that don't work. So it's all about money. There is a lot of money involved in this stuff. Energy is the number one mover and shakers of the world. Even Akon saw that when he was doing his energy. That's why he had to do lighting, um, um, solar lighting rather than energy because there was too many big players. So so this is a good thing. Um, we already spoke about the four different myths. You know, um, this again, this is going to be a video or a podcast, and it's not a dream or a concept. This is already started. Again, this is your guy Electro Demo. So if you're tired of Sierra Leone and wonder when we will change, you wonder when will Sierra Leone change because you're tired. It's been years ever since the the colonization is in the 60s. We haven't moved. Well, guess what? It's already changed. It's just going to be a matter of time, and you've heard it first here. And we haven't even talked about electric cars yet. We haven't talked about electric buses yet, and that's all coming because that's the next best thing. And you know why I know electric buses and electric cars are going to come? Yes, because of the same greed and what you call corruption. And I'm putting quotes on this. I'm putting quotes, open quotes, corruption, close quote. So in other words, I'm saying the reason why Sierra Leone hasn't been moving is going to be the reason why Sierra Leone is going to go to the moon because it's now connected with West Africa, and once you connect Sierra Leone with West Africa, it's going to be very valuable because it is a point of low income, a point of low labor. So they're going to use Sierra Leone as a catapult, as a means to power the other countries. Also, Sierra Leone has Bumbuna already. That's one of the gems with this line. And Bumbuna is going to be very valuable, not necessarily for Sierra Leone, but for powering Guinea, Liberia, and Ivory Coast. Well, that's all I got, guys. So I just wanted to say big ups to this administration, big ups to the administration before. I hope this kind of project and something similar keeps on going. I'm still not going to give up on the airport. Hopefully, we'll have an airport that's inland, not this ridiculous airport where you got to land. We don't have airport for the capital. Lunge is not the capital. There's nothing in Freetown. By the way, the other thing that's going to happen, since Sierra Leone is going to be decentralized, Freetown is no longer the powerhouse. The cities that have electricity, 24-hour electricity, that's going to be the powerhouse. So watch this space. You're going to start seeing Bo and Kenamba become like Abuja. It's gonna grow so fast. They're gonna have the agriculture, and before you know it, it's gonna get developed because they're the ones that are feeding Freetown. One more thing before I let you go, and I didn't talk about this power has what I call a Trojan horse. This system right here, the network line has high fiber optics. So any country who would have fiber optics and hooks it up could communicate it just like you communicating. I'm sorry, just like you powering the other um, the other countries, because on the line itself, on top of the line, you could just tap into the fiber optics. All right, so now you could basically be right there in the woods in the provinces in Sierra Leone, in what I call like the Timbuktu. In other words, all the way out there in no man's land, and then you have 24-hour electricity plus high-speed cable. Go figure that. Again, that's not something that's going to happen. It has already happened. It's just going to be a matter of time when people start realizing this, and they're going to start moving, and they're going to be investing. All right. So you heard it here first. The change has already happened in Sierra Leone. Just sit back and watch, or join, be part of the design, the design, build, operate, and transfer. Find out how you could do it. The only people that could change Africa is Africa. This is Electro Demo. I love you guys all. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so you could have more. Because there's going to be more news. Because we haven't talked about electricity, the electrifying of the vehicles. We haven't talked about decentralized currency. Now that we have this group between Ivory Coast, Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea, what's the best way to pay? I would say Bitcoin. But then again, that's a topic for another time. This is Electro Demo, and I will see you guys later.